In this course, we'll better understand the leader's role in developing effective followers. Leadership and followership are closely intertwined. For any group or organization to succeed, there must be people who are willingly and effectively following, just as there must be those who are willingly and effectively leading. Followership is the ability or willingness to follow a leader. Leaders and organizational situations vary, but there are some qualities and behaviors that every good leader wants from his or her followers. The following are ones that have been shown to contribute to productive and rewarding leader-follower relationships. First, a make-it-happen attitude. Leaders don't want excuses, they want results. A leader's job becomes smoother when he or she has followers who are positive and self-motivated, who can get things done, who accept responsibility, and who excel at required tasks. Leaders value those people who produce ideas, show initiative, and take responsibility when they see something that needs to be done or a problem that needs to be solved. Leaders look for followers with a willingness to collaborate. Leaders are responsible for so much more in the organization than any individual follower's concerns, feelings, or performance, yet each of those is incredibly important. Each follower is a part of a leader's larger system and should realize that his or her actions affect the whole. Leaders are also looking for followers with the motivation to stay up to date. Leaders want followers to know what's happening in the organization's industry or field of the endeavor. In addition, they want people to understand their circumstances, their competition, how things change in terms of technology or world events that might affect the organization. Most people try to learn all they can in order to get a job done, but they sometimes grow complacent and fail to stay current on what's going on outside the narrow confines of their day-to-day work. And finally, for our purposes here, leaders want a follower with a passion or drive for their own growth. Similarly, leaders want followers who seek to enhance their own growth and development rather than depending solely on the leader to do it. Anything that exposes an individual to new people and ideas can enhance personal and professional development. Now let's move on to followership styles, which are categorized according to two dimensions, thinking and behavior. Let's take a look. The first dimension is the quality of independent, critical thinking versus dependent, uncritical thinking. Critical thinking means approaching subjects, situations, and problems with thoughtful questions and in an unbiased way, gathering and assessing ideas and information objectively, and mentally penetrating into underlying implications of various alternatives. Conversely, a dependent, uncritical thinker does not consider possibilities beyond what he or she is told, does not contribute to the cultivation of the organization, and accepts the leader's ideas without assessing or evaluating them. The second dimension of followership style is active versus passive behavior. An active individual participates fully in the organization, engages in behavior that is beyond the limits of the job, demonstrates a sense of ownership, and initiates problem-solving and decision-making. Whereas a passive individual is characterized by the need for constant supervision and prodding by supervisors. A passive individual is often regarded as lazy. A passive person does nothing that's not required and avoids added responsibility. The extent to which one is active or passive and is a critical, independent thinker or dependent, uncritical thinker determines whether he or she is an alienated follower, a passive follower, a conformist, a pragmatic survivor, or an effective follower. The alienated follower is an independent, critical thinker but is passive in the organization. Alienated followers often are effective followers who have experienced setback or obstacles, perhaps by broken promises of a leader. Thus, they are capable, but they only focus exclusively on the shortcomings of the organization and other people. They're often cynical. Alienated followers are able to think independently, but they do not participate in developing solutions to the problems or deficiencies that they see. The conformist participates actively in the organization but does not use critical thinking skills in his or her task behavior. In other words, a conformist typically carries out any and all orders regardless of the nature of those tasks. The conformist participates willingly but without considering the consequences of what he or she is being asked to do, even at the risk of contributing to a harmful endeavor. The pragmatic survivor has qualities of all four extremes, depending on which style fits the prevalent situation. This type of follower uses whatever style best benefits his or her own position and minimizes risk. The passive follower exhibits neither critical, independent thinking nor active participation. Being passive and uncritical, these followers display neither initiative or a sense of responsibility. Their activity is limited to what they're told to do, and they accomplish things only with a great deal of supervision. Finally, the effective follower is both a critical, independent thinker and active in the organization. Effective followers behave the same towards everyone regardless of their position in the organization. They do not try to avoid risks or conflict. Rather, effective followers have the courage to initiate change, but put themselves at risk or in conflict with others, even their leaders, to serve the best interests of the organization. Characterized by both mindfulness and a willingness to act, effective followers are essential for an organization to be effective. They are capable of self-management, discern strengths and weaknesses in themselves and in the organization, and are committed to something bigger than themselves and work towards competency, solutions, and a positive impact.